evening, it's Rachel from the Twinkl Home Ed team, and we're about to have another live. It's just 10 minutes, so if you can, stick around and watch it. And I'm just going to invite Amy along, so make yourself comfortable while we have the awkward silence. So Amy will be coming along soon. Got a few questions to ask her, but we'll just also see how it goes. If you'd like to join in as well at some point and join in the interview, then come along and hi Amy.
I've got a nice look out my window there.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Have you had a good day?
Not too bad.
Good. So I first started following you when you talked about living in a small flat, and because right now we're in like a narrow and tall house, but for the last 5 years before that, we lived in a 2-bedroom flat. So anyone else who did that, I would just like leapt on them to have a bit of solidarity. It's special, like having kids in a flat is a unique kind of process.
It is, yeah, it definitely is. But yeah, I mean, we've lived here since just after we got married, so before we had children. And yeah, I mean, on the whole, I really love it.
Yeah.
And I think it enables you to be like really creative with the space that you've got.
Yeah, definitely.
I always say there's always one piece of furniture, and it's not the same piece of furniture, but like you have a rearrange and there's like one piece of furniture that you're like, that doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah. Now we had the problem of moving somewhere like with four stories because there's a basement, and so a few of our rooms look a little bit sparse, but that's quite nice after being in the flat. So yeah. Right, I'm going to start the timer now. So 10 minutes. Here we go. So I've already said you're Amy, but do you want to tell us a little bit more about who you are and who you home educate and whereabouts you are?
Yep. So I have 2 small children. They are 3 and 11 months. Can't believe he's going to be 1 in like just a few weeks. It's crazy how quickly he's growing. But yeah, so we live in Hertfordshire. So we're just north of London, and yeah, I have wanted to home educate since before they were born. I don't know if that's common or not. We had the discussion when I was pregnant with my first that we wanted to home educate them, and so it's just, I guess, a bit of a natural progression.
Yeah. Did you know home educators before then? Like, had you met people that inspired that?
No, not really. No. I mean, my mum's a teacher, so I come from sort of like that background. And so, yeah, it was just something that was like on my mind. And the more I read into it and the more I sort of looked into it, the more I was like, yeah, let's do that. But obviously, like, then children come along and it's obviously a lot different than when you think about having children. But yeah, it's something that's actually just sort of naturally progressed as time's gone on as well.
Yeah, that's so I was talking to Sarah recently, who is also like at the very start of a home ed journey, and that kind of natural progression of like, it's just our life and how it is, and we're just making the normal steps forward, and it does feel very natural when you just kind of ease into it. Do you have, I know maybe officially you haven't started your home ed journey, but I think when you're in that mindset, it just all feels like part of life. Do you have kind of 3 words that you think sum up your journey so far, or what you hope for it?
Yeah, so I feel like at the moment, at least, it's quite relaxed. It's very relaxed. And we just, I guess, I know it's more than a word, but like go with the flow sort of thing. And yeah, just so I really like identify with like the unschooling sort of philosophies. And I don't know, obviously I've got very young children, whether that will change as things, progress. But I like the sort of relaxed aspect of everything. And I think the pandemic helped that a little bit as well, and helped us like really slow down. It brought my husband home from work, so he's here all the time, and although he's not, he is working when he's here, but our life feels a lot more flexible than it used to be.
Yeah, we have that. My husband's always worked, well, in the last 4 years or so, has always worked from home, and yeah, he's working, but it's still like, I don't know, just the pace feels very, very different, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
flexibility.
yeah, like if there's something like really urgent, it's like, could you just watch the kids for like 2 seconds? Otherwise, it'd be like, everybody, you've got to come with me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You
Um,
that a lot.
yeah, so that is really nice, and I think it has made that aspect of life feel a lot slower.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I think I've got a child coming down, and my husband isn't at home today to call the child at them. So do you have you? I mean, again, it's early on, but are there any things that you either are not looking forward to with home education, or that you've already kind of come across that you think like that's going to be more of a struggle or a difficulty?
I reckon noting things down, like documenting things. I've actually already told myself that from this September, I'm going to make so she only turns 3 in February.
Yeah.
So we've got a long way till like compulsory school age, but I'm going to try and from this September, because I'm like naturally got a schooled mind, and I think September is the beginning of everything.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start just noting stuff down so that I'm already in a routine, because that's probably where I'll fall down.
I wrote my letter for the like local authority way before my kid was school age, and I've never been checked by the local authority, so I've still got it saved somewhere. It's very different now.
Yeah.
You were, even though it's early, you were quite involved in the home ed community. Like that's how I found you on Instagram and so on. Is it? What are your impressions of the home ed community? And I don't feel like I'm putting you on the spot because but I know that you're very like thoughtful about things and think through the whys of things. And I just I'm curious to know what you think of the home ed community. If you think there's anything that is special about it, or if there's anything that you would change, or that you hope to be part of the change of.
Yeah, so I guess sometimes I always feel like a little bit of an imposter, and I think it's because my children are so young, and I'm like, what do I really have to say on home education when I haven't experienced, basically what I'm thinking is, well, my children aren't compulsory school age, so what do I have to offer on it? So I think maybe, and this only comes from myself, but maybe normalizing the fact that like home education can start from birth. Essentially, it's the school system that has said, right, like when you're 4, 5, now you have to come to us and we'll come and teach you. And so I think normalizing that a bit more, and just sort of normalizing that, home education can start whenever. And like I say, that's my thing, that I feel like an imposter. But I wonder if others who have small children feel the same.
I do feel that. I think that, especially on social media, well, I've gone to groups, or even today, I asked to join a Facebook group for home ed, and it was like, are you home educating children over 4 years old? Because otherwise it didn't count. Or there's the idea, if you send your kids to nursery but you're still planning to home educate, that somehow that doesn't count either. And we kind of made up all these rules that, it's coming from a system that has all of these rules, but the freedom is that we don't have to follow it. And I think there's a lot to learn from people who are coming in. I mean, I've only been doing it a few years, so I'm still like very early on in my journey, but people coming in with different views, especially post-pandemic, I think it's going to be interesting, and I think it's going to hopefully make an even more diverse community. That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Yeah.
So I know you do a lot of different things, podcasts, blogs, all sorts of things. And you say you had a slow pace of life. Like, how does that balance up? How do you keep a slow pace of life but still feel like you're doing all of those things? And I hate the word balancing, but balancing it with the children and so on.
Sometimes I feel like I'm spinning like all the plates, and I'm like, I must do that, I must do that, I must do that, I must do that, and this person needs some milk, and this person needs a snack. And honestly, sometimes I don't manage it at all. And a lot of it, I feel we're very privileged, having my husband home and him having an income that means that I don't have to work. I mean, I've been on maternity leave for the last year, and I did work between my 2 children, which was like, there was 18 months between when I got pregnant with my second. And so I have been on maternity leave, but I appreciate that we are in a very privileged position where I don't have to go back to work. But that being said, I like doing something, and I feel like I'm a better mum, a better partner when I have some time to myself. I'm very introverted. Sometimes maybe I don't come across that way on social media, but I'm very introverted and I need that time to recharge by myself.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of stuff from like the work I do, like content creation and stuff. I get a lot from it. So sometimes I manage to balance it, sometimes I don't. But it's my husband plays a big part in taking the load off in some places, and it's just a different balance because I've always worked up until having children, and so now I don't have an income that contributes as much. It's just finding that balance, I guess.
No, I like that. I like the honesty of like sometimes I don't manage it because I think because we want to persuade people like you can, like there's freedom to do all these different things, but so sometimes I think we oversell how we manage things. I certainly don't manage things at all.
Yeah, I mean sometimes I walk up into my bedroom and I'm like I need a break.
I think that's something that I have seen change even just the last few years in home education. The more because it is mainly women, and more women who are working part-time or in more creative ways, either because they're choosing to or because they want to need to bring in that extra income. So I think that's definitely, I've had a lot of people asking about that and wanting people to be more open about it. Like my mum used to, sorry this is going on, my mum was a nurse, and when she went back to work she did night shifts. We didn't even know she worked. Like I saw her in uniform, but there was like no acknowledgement that she was having to balance all of these things. It was just a presumption that she would manage it. So I think it is really good to keep talking about it. Sorry.
I often think like I used to talk quite a lot about I'm not going to go back to work, and acknowledging how much of a privilege that is. That's a privilege that many people don't have. Very expensive to live, extremely expensive, and that does tie into why we live in a flat. It's the reasons how we've made that sort of balance work. And it's a difficult subject sometimes to talk about, I think, isn't it, to be like, well, I have the privilege that I have, and not everybody does. And
you have a podcast on it, don't you? Have you talked a little bit on your podcast about it?
I have. I'm having a podcast break at the moment, but I am intending to get back to it.
The time is actually up now, so it went probably about a minute ago. If people do want to learn or talk to you more about that, you're happy for them to come over to your Instagram.
Absolutely,
Life on Thought 44. Is that right?
Yeah, that's me. You'll find me at the allotment.
So, and I know you've got blogs and all different ways that people can interact with you, but Instagram, if you head over there, you'll be able to chat to Amy more. It's been lovely talking to you, and welcome.
Thank you so much.
Please feel welcome to the home ed world, because the compulsory school age, it's just a number. So thank you very much for sharing with us, and
thanks so much.
Evening. Bye.
And you. Bye.